It's a pleasure to be here today. First, I want to congratulate all the nominees for both awards. There's tremendous work done by a lot of CAOC attorneys. There's a lot of worthy cases here for Attorney of the Year. I'm here to talk to you about the Ghost Ship case and describe for you why I believe this case deserves your vote. It's a case that received a tremendous amount of attention in the media. You might have read about it. On December 2nd, 2016, 36 people lost their lives. These people were all primarily in their 20s. There was one as young as 17. And they lost their lives in a fire in a warehouse in Oakland during a music concert. The warehouse was not licensed for entertainment events. There were no emergency exits, no fire detectors, no fire alarms, no sprinklers. Lawsuits were filed for 33 victims, and there was a tremendous collaborative effort by lawyers, a lot of veteran lawyers, past CAOC presidents who have given so much to this organization, and young lawyers who brought in new concepts and new ideas, and they formed a team that got just a remarkable result. The litigation lasted about 4 years. There were over 40 depositions. There were dozens and dozens of days of mediation on very complex topics. I want to talk to you a little bit about the defendants and why the result was due to highly creative and tenacious lawyering. First defendant was the City of Oakland. Second defendant was PG&E, and the third defendant was the building owner. Now, truly great lawyers see a path to victory when it's not there. And that's exactly what happened here with the Ghost Ship case. With the City of Oakland, the result changed how local businesses operate. It changed how local governments look at safety inspections and fire inspections. The original theory against Oakland was that they didn't inspect. They failed to inspect this warehouse. If they'd done it, they would have seen it was a fire hazard. They would have shut it down. Well, Alameda Superior Court judge throws that out on an immunity basis. Now, for many lawyers on the government claim, that's the end of the road. But this group of lawyers reimagined that claim. And they modeled what we expect of CAOC attorneys. They did everything humanly possible to bring justice to their clients. So after hundreds of hours of research, this group of lawyers found two obscure Oakland City ordinances that created a mandatory duty. The first city ordinance required the police to report all new businesses. And if they had done that, there would have been an inspection. They then subpoenaed police records and found body cameras from the police that showed they were at this site in response to noise complaints, yet they didn't report it as a new business when it was obvious there was concerts going on. The second city ordinance created a mandatory duty by police to shut down cabarets. What's a cabaret? A cabaret is a place where they charge admission, provide live entertainment, and sell alcohol. These group of lawyers followed lead after lead, then found that a fireman, a lieutenant, had been at one of the events, had been there for 3 or 4 hours and had not reported it. The theory of the case against Oakland changed midstream from a failure to inspect to a failure to report. It was challenged 7 different times on the pleadings, one going all the way to the California Supreme Court. Oakland came in and got amicus briefs from everybody, from all the city governments, local municipalities, yet our lawyers prevailed. We also know from public records that Oakland spent $16 million trying to snuff out this claim, but they were unsuccessful. The group of CAOC lawyers were creative, they persevered, and they got a $32 million recovery for their clients from the City of Oakland in a case they had no business winning. Now, that's just one piece of the puzzle. That alone would justify an Attorney of the Year award. But then you have the PG&E piece, which is even more astounding. With respect to PG&E, any objective view of liability would determine liability somewhere between slim and non-existent. PG&E basically gave these lawyers the finger, told them they'd never pay them a dime because their liability ended at the meter. They weren't responsible for what happened inside the property. Again, these lawyers dug in, went the extra mile, found rules, tariff rules, and PUC rules that applied to PG&E. I would suggest that most of the tort lawyers in California have not heard of Public Utilities Code 351. I know I hadn't, but that's what these lawyers use to hold in PG&E. They found that PG&E violated that rule, which was a rule promoting basic safety, by allowing one meter to exist for multiple businesses, which was dangerous. They found that PG&E had inspected the site 2 years before and did not report any of the catastrophic conditions to anyone. And on that incredibly thin foundation, this group of CAOC lawyers prevailed. And while the settlement is confidential, we do know from public reports that the PG&E settlement was much higher than the settlement for the city of Oakland. On top of that, they went after the landlord. Instead of just taking the insurance and running, which was $6 million, they chased the landlord through bankruptcy court, made her sell her assets, and got another $6 million on top of that. So when you look at the criteria for this award, what I would suggest is not only are these criteria more than satisfied in the ghost ship case, in fact, the ghost ship case is a model for CAOC lawyers. The performance of these lawyers is a reflection of our core mission, which is you get a case and you fight and you fight and you never stop fighting, which is exactly what they did. Because what we've learned over the years is victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting. I want to mention at the end the policy impact this case has had, because we know from government reports that this case changed the way inspections and reporting are done on fire hazards up and down the state of California. So we have a group of lawyers who found a path to victory where none existed, and they've made California a safer place. And they've done a tremendous amount of good, not just for the state, but for us here at COC. I'm tremendously proud to speak on their behalf, and I would request your vote for the ghost ship cases.